Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel where I give you my 2 cents on all things TV and film. Today we're talking about All American Season 7 Episode 2, Get By. Alright, let's dive in again. I have to say I really love these new kids, except for Yassi, because he's a bully and he's annoying, and yet still I somehow want to know more about him, because obviously I think that he's just being a jerk to Khalil because he's jealous of him, because Khalil used to play football and he's probably better than him, and he thinks he's going to take his spot if Khalil was a quarterback. So if it's just the jealousy thing, like, dude, get over yourself. Maybe go to practice, get better if you don't want him to take your spot. But if it's something else, I'm really intrigued to find out, even though he's super annoying. And in this episode, KJ meets Tori, and we find out more about her and how she was a cheerleader and she suffered from an injury and all of that, and now she's not cheering anymore. One thing I really like is that we are getting cheerleaders now in this new era of the show, because that was a teen drama rule that they completely broke when the show started. There were like no cheerleaders, and I didn't even realize it until maybe like a year ago, when I was really starting to think about it. But I'm glad that we are now getting that. And it's not just, the rah-rah girls and like the stereotypical stuff that we get with cheerleaders. We're actually getting to see them as athletes, as champions. And like I said with Tori, she suffered from an injury. And I also really like, I'm liking that part of the story, because it's not just the physical, it's also the physical and the mental. And I really appreciate when talking about sports we put physical and mental together, because one does affect the other. And so she got a concussion and now she has the twisties. And so, like I said, I really like her character. I enjoyed her in this episode. I'm really excited to see what they do with her moving forward. Probably seeing her overcome her twisties, maybe with some help from KJ, because there is a love triangle, and now with her in it, a square that is forming. And you know what, bring on all the drama, because that's what we're here for, right? No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, really just continuing to enjoy the new kids that we met last season, or last episode, and already like Tori. So keep up the good work. And it's also looking like Amina is going to be working with Layla in some capacity. And I'm very excited to see that. Number one, because I started to notice that her storylines so far are attached to KJ and Khalil. And so this is a nice storyline for her that it doesn't have anything to do with these dudes. And just like not so much about her trying to be like grown. But also this like mother-daughter mentorship type vibe, type relationship that we're probably going to get with them. I can say that I'm not at all ready for that kind of emotional damage, because they do have that connection with losing their mothers at very important moments in their young womanhood. So like I can tell that, I know that's going to play a factor, and I am in no way emotionally prepared for all of that. I know they're going to kill it. I know they're going to eat it up. But me, I'm not going to be okay. But also, I think I do want to be wrecked emotionally by it. So it's just like this self-torture that I am hoping and wishing for, which is utterly ridiculous. But I say all that to say that I'm very excited about this duo. I quickly have to talk about Coop, because it wasn't just the kids' first day of school, but it was also her first day of law school, and she was worse than the kids. Had a whole panic attack and had to take a moment, and ended up, meeting someone who ended up being her professor for that class. And of course, they had a whole situation where they were like, you know what, like, screw those professors. And then she's like, I'm the professor, surprise. Yeah. But my only thing is that I hope that this is a better professor-student relationship than the last one we saw, but I also hope that there's no hot for teacher business going on. I do not want to see that type of storyline. I've seen it too many times, watched too much TV, and I've seen it multiple times, and I don't want that kind of complication for her. And now let's move on to what I'm sure most of you are here to hear me talk about, and that is this whole Layla Olivia pregnancy scare, false positive, real positive situation. Let's start off with the Layla portion of it all, because it was giving surprise wedding. And, this show really likes to play in our face. This show really likes to give us trust issues, and this was nothing new. Didn't trust it, not one bit. I said it in the last video that I was never expect them to give Layla a pregnancy storyline this early on in the season, if it happens this season. Like I said before, the earliest I could see it happening is at the midway point. So what is that, like 6, 7, 8 episode-ish area? So it happening now, did not believe it. Also, I've watched enough television to know that when a person is really pregnant, this is not how it's done. They're usually in denial, they're being delusional, or they just randomly pass out or can't fit their clothes and they're like, I don't understand why. So yeah, didn't trust it, not one bit. Also, it just kind of felt like the show was like, oops, we know we dropped all these hints. We didn't realize what we were doing while we were doing it, and everyone noticed and everyone caught it. And now we think that they think we're going to do this early. So we have to now tell them, chill for a minute. Not yet. Not yet. But like I said before, I was not thinking that this was going to happen now. So they didn't really need to do that. They could have just done away with this whole thing and just let it all go to Liv. Speaking of Liv, her being the one that was pregnant, let me just say, with her return and this, big reveal, I wish it was all a surprise. Because everyone pretty much figured it out from the synopsis to the promo. Like, we have eyes. We figured it out. And so before even the episode aired, before it even got to Monday, that's what we were all expecting. So I just wish that it was a surprise. The second thing that I have to say about this is a form of fan service that I do not like, because it's not because I'm not a fan of her. I am a fan of her. I do like her. I'm not a hater. And you can say that I am. It really doesn't matter. But I don't hate her. But her character moved away and is no longer on the show. And this type of fan service where they give you something that they know you really want but they're kind of not really giving it to you because you're not going to see it. She's all the way across the country. Her character is just popping in periodically throughout the season. Don't even know when we're going to see her again at this point. We know that she's going to come back, but that could be episode 10. We really don't know. It could even be episode 13, which is supposed to be the finale right now. So we just don't know. And I don't know how many people who are watching this have watched Grey's Anatomy, but this feels kind of like what they did with Jackson and April when they brought them back and they were suddenly married again. It's just like giving kind of like have your cake and eat it too vibes. Like, we're giving you something, but we're not really going to give it to you because you're not going to see the journey of it all. And like all of the things that we're anticipating wasn't just, getting the pregnancy test and it being positive, but like all of the things that come after that. And we're just not going to see it. It's all going to happen off screen. So like, honestly, if I was a hardcore Olivia fan, I'd be pissed right now because like she told him over a phone call, which she didn't really get to see. She didn't tell Jordan. We don't get to see her tell him. We don't get to see her tell her mom. So it's kind of a letdown. I know they're excited, but yeah, I don't like it. This is not fan service that I enjoy at all. And I'm not opposed to fan service. I'm a fan. I want what I want. But this is not the way that I want it. And that really kind of upset me. And then the whole cross-country sponsee thing that made absolutely no sense being true. The only way I see this even mattering is if this woman who is a recording artist or used to be a recording artist is now somehow going to be attached to whatever they give Layla, because I'm just like, give her something to do now. Like, we've got the whole, like, she's not going to be pregnant yet out of the way, so give her something to do. And I have a feeling that this is going to be her something to do, because they said that they loved her growing up. Something happened, she crashed out online, it was not pretty, and now she's kind of like rebranding her image. And I'm wondering if she's going to be a new artist for Layla. And now that I'm saying this out loud, it's kind of reminding me of Patience post Miko, and how at least Layla tried to kind of like help her get past that whole situation. So she kind of has like experience in this area, and so she can help her out. Even though I did get the vibe that like Layla doesn't like her anymore, or like she just didn't like what happened with whatever that situation is. There weren't a lot of details, but I just have a feeling that that's going to be a connection somehow. And if it's not, why? Why did we have to sit through all of that? Like, cross country sponsee makes no sense. You're all the way over here, she's all the way over there. What if there's an emergency? How did they even meet? Like, it will only make sense if there's that connection, and that's the only way I'm going to be able to accept it. But after all of that, I guess, you know, congrats Liv and Spencer for having a kid. Even though, side note, I really honestly never even thought that they would. I didn't think Liv wanted to be a mom. Sorry. But yeah, I'm sorry. It's just, it wasn't a surprise, so I wasn't shocked. So I have like zero emotion about the whole thing. I'm just like, okay, it happened. And are we even going to talk about it again? Until whenever she comes back. Now let's move on to the who is the long lost brother of Billy slash uncle of Jordan portion of this video, which, depending on how the episodes go, will probably be a portion towards the end of every video, as I just rattle off all of the random things that my brain was thinking about this whole entire situation. In the last video, I was saying that it probably has something to do with the two coaches, Bobby or Cassius. And here's what I'm thinking now. So now I'm leaning more towards him being Bobby or some rando that we haven't even met yet. Starting off with Bobby, pretty much because of the little bit that we got in the promo. And when they said that his name was Bobby, I was like, Bobby, Billy, those names are kind of similar. Maybe it's him. And that's dumb, but that's my dumb brain. And that's like, we have no evidence for anyone, so that's all I have to go off of. But I also think that it could be a random person, and they're just trying to throw us off with these coaches, and Jordan is gonna like go hard in on them and think that it's one of them because of how they've been treating him, and they're gonna have him be completely wrong again, just like he was wrong about Spencer being their half brother. I'm also not leaning towards it being Cassius anymore, because I don't think that the way he's treating Jordan has anything to do with this. I feel like it has more so to do with how KJ sees Jordan as like this huge superstar, who doesn't even coach for Beverly. He coaches for their rivals, and Cassius is his coach and is his dad, and KJ is upset with him because of the separation and all of that, and that is gonna be an issue in their relationship. And you're starting to see how Jordan, or how KJ is leaning more towards Jordan and looking up to him, and he's got an issue with that. That's why I'm not leaning towards him right now. That could change in a week. Also, this is kind of sad, but my brain also went there, like, what if Jordan goes through this whole search and all he finds is a grave? Like, what if the person isn't alive either, and it's just like, welp, that kind of sucks. I don't know. I'm just rattling through all of the random possibilities because we have nothing to go on at this point. So overall, this was a good episode. I've noticed for the past couple seasons that this show really is like a slow burn when it comes to the seasons. They need a couple episodes to just kind of like lay a foundation, and then they go for it in like episode 3 or 4. This time looks no different. So it feels like, you know, we've met all of the new kids. We're seeing the different vibes and the different places people are in their lives. We had an old character come back with big news. You know, they've kind of chilled us out with the Layla pregnancy, baby Baker on the way situation, and now hopefully we can move into all of the drama and all of the stuff of the season with like the football season and all of the kids drama and, you know, the grown-up stuff. Hopefully we see Layla back in the studio in the next episode, and we see their first football game and all that kind of stuff. So that is what I'm hoping, that is what I am assuming is going to happen. But you know, another great episode. It just feels so good to have these fresh faces. Like, not that I hated all of the OG people that were on the show, but going from being, I wouldn't say worried, but just like curious, slightly worried to see how they were going to make the shift, to actually seeing it and seeing how well done it is. I'm even more excited for what's to come. Hopefully it's all good. Hopefully none of it causes us to crash out. We know how the show is. But yeah, this was a great episode. I don't really have anything else to say. So let me know what your thoughts were, what you liked, what you didn't like. If you didn't like anything, talk to me about the pregnancy stuff, how ridiculous that was. What do you think is going to happen next? What do you think is going to happen for the rest of the season? Yeah, let's have a conversation in the comments. And remember, be civil or be blocked. Have a great day, morning, noon, night, whenever you're watching this, and I will see y'all later. Bye.